Hello, one and all, it's Dr. Stone, chapter 194, Homo sapien all alone. And we begin this chapter by showing the progress of time and showing that, hey, Zeno's cows are still alive, yay! I was honestly actually really worried about them. I figured, without Zeno's people to look after them, they would all starve to death very, very quickly, but hey, that's not the case, good for them. Though I guess this shouldn't be too surprising. I mean, let's not forget, these are the same species of cow that survived for 3,000 years without humanity to help them or milk them or do anything for them, which is interesting. I'm not actually sure how that happened, how that would work, but, life finds a way. And speaking of life finding a way, I want to take a minute to talk about Amaryllis, because her pose here is very interesting. I mean, the last two chapters have shown that everyone in Ishigami Village and Treasure Island took the exact same defensive position with her head on the ground, but not Amaryllis. Her pose almost seems like she's guarding or defending her stomach, which... curious? I mean, is this foreshadowing that Amaryllis is in fact pregnant and this pose she's taking is to defend her unborn child? I do think that would make a certain amount of sense. I mean, there was definitely something going on between her and Soyuz when we last checked into them, when we first left Treasure Island, so is she pregnant with Soyuz's child and is she trying to guard as best she can like this? I mean, maybe? Maybe. That's the best explanation I came up with for this pose, but hey, it might be reaching way too much here. But anyway, back to South America. The roar of a jaguar is almost enough to shatter the bottle of vital fluid, but it's not quite there, not quite enough. Instead, it takes the roar of thunder, the voice of a freaking god to finally do it, to finally free Suka from the stone. Huzzah! Unfortunately, she is still blind, which might not be a surprise to most people reading this, but I saw a lot of people theorizing that being petrified and revived would end up fixing her fuzzy eyesies, would end up fixing her nearsightedness. And I really did like this theory, because it would also mean that Dr. Chelsea is a liar who was lying about her nearsightedness, because the petrification would have cured it. But then I remembered Kinra, who was also suffering from nearsightedness, and was also petrified back on Treasure Island, and yet despite that, he's still wearing glasses to this very day. So yeah, that doesn't actually work out all that well. But this did make me start to wonder then, okay, if the petrification beam can cure wounds, but not nearsightedness, what exactly is it? What exactly is it doing? Because, just saying, oh, it can heal people doesn't actually make a whole lot of sense. What is healing? How are you defining healing? Is it just affecting the body's own systems, making the cells divide more quickly to make sure that wounds close up? Because that would come with its own problems. It wouldn't really cure, scars, like the crack scars and stuff like that. That's not the kind of thing that would heal over time, no matter how long you wait. So what exactly is it doing? And the answer I've essentially come up with, at least for now, is that the Medusa is essentially a time machine, though not in the traditional understanding of a time machine. It's not moving a person forward and backward through time, it's moving time through the person. It's changing the person's time, like, how can I actually explain this? Like, for example, say if you came up to me and stabbed me in the leg because, I don't know, I did something to deserve it. I probably did do something to deserve it. I'm very sorry about that. Please don't stab me again. And then you petrified me. When you unpetrified me, you'd essentially be moving me backwards in time, moving my body into a previous point, a previous state it was in before I was stabbed. And even the being turned to stone could be considered just moving the person forward in time so far that they literally petrify, they literally fossilize before you. That's at least the best possible explanation I come up with right now. Of course, there's still a lot of questions left unanswered. For instance, Tsukasa remembered being stabbed by Hyoga, so even though he was reverted back to a state before he was stabbed, he retained his memories. And then there's the fact that the stone statues are able to continue thinking, even though they've been turned to stone. I'm not really sure how to explain that, other than some sort of quantum entanglement, maybe? I'm very unclear about that, but anyway, let's focus back on Suka, who woke up. Yay! Suka woke up! Unfortunately, she's all alone, and she has no revival fluid, and Stanley shot her glasses, so she can't even really see all that well, which, is bad. Very, very bad. And she only has a little bit of food left before she starves to death. And of course, in every one of these freaking shots, you see the moon right above her, as if the Y-Man is looking down at her, as if the Y-Man is laughing at her, mocking her pain. And you know what? Y-Man, I'm willing to forgive everything you've done up to this point. Wiping out humanity, oh, we definitely deserve that. But making poor little Suka cry, that is unforgivable. That is completely and totally unforgivable. You disgust me, Y-Man. And then Suka begins to cry and cry and cry about how she needs Francois to make her food. She needs Senku to tell her what to do. She needs Kohaku to give her a hug. It's how it's so hard to be all alone in the world. But then she remembers Senku. Senku was all alone in the world. He woke up all by himself and he survived. He thrived with the power of science because he is a human. And if he did it, she can do it too. I mean, yeah, Senku was a few years older than her and had way more scientific knowledge and wasn't in the middle of the Amazon, but still, if Senku did it, then Suka can do it as well. I just love the shot of all the statues, cheering her on, giving her a thumbs up, encouraging her. Oh, that was so cute. That was so freaking cute. And then we see her, I'm going to say this a few weeks later, given that she managed to clean off all the debris from the Medusa Tower, and she's built a shelter and found fruit and weaved basket for herself. And then, just like with Senku at the very beginning of this series, the monkeys wonder, who is this smooth, shiny monkey? We've never seen anyone like her before. And then she introduces herself. Her name is Suka, and she's a human. Huzzah! Oh, I love you, Suka. I freaking love you. And I love the new outfit design you have. It looks so amazing. So amazing. So yeah, now the question remains, okay, what exactly is going to happen next? I mean, how long can Suka survive for herself? How long is it going to take her to find, Chelsea and Luna? Assuming that, Chelsea and Luna even had any more bottles of vital fluid, and assuming that those bottles didn't break over the last 2 or 3 years, they've been exposed to the elements. So yeah, that's bad. There's actually a fairly good chance Suka might end up having to make some from scratch, which, unless she stumbles upon a bat cave really freaking close to her home base, that's going to take her a very long time. But even if, Chelsea and Luna do still have some bottles, it could take her a very, very long time to find them. I mean, they were several hundred feet away from the base and standing on the edge of a cliff, so Suka would have to, basically scale the cliff to find them and reach the bottles. So yeah, that could take a while. I mean, how long exactly can Suka survive by herself in the Amazon? I mean, she has this preserved meat, so that's going to last her at least quite a while, especially when combined with all the fruits she's able to find, by herself. Senku taught her how to make that insect repellent from the army ant, so as long as she can keep making that, she doesn't have to worry about any creepy crawlies in the Amazon, and that might even repel, jaguars or snakes, stuff like that. And, she still does have all of Stanley and his soldiers' guns. I mean, obviously she's not a sharpshooter. Obviously she's not going to start using it to fire at jaguars. But she could still use it to scare away big animals, just find one, even just Stanley's handgun, it still works. Pick it up, just shoot it in the ground whenever something big or terrifying comes near her. That'd be certainly a good way to repel animals. I just really, really want to see more of her survival, in the Amazon. I want to see her just using everything Senku's taught her to survive, to overcome obstacle after obstacle, to grow stronger, to grow more mature, to maybe even spend a good year or two living by herself and just seeing what happens from that, seeing who she becomes after all that time, and just, oh god, it would just make the reunion so much better if it's really been a very, very long time since she actually saw everyone. If when they see her, like, Suka, you've grown up so much. You grew a whole foot. Oh god, that'd be so sweet. So sweet. I freaking love to see that. But please let me know down below. How long do you think it's been since Suka woke up, and how long can she survive on her own before she needs to wake someone else up to, take care of some of her basic needs? Who's she going to find next? Is she actually going to bring everyone back together? I mean, she actually said she's going to find all the statues and bring them together, which seems to imply she's actually going to pick up the very heavy statues of all her friends and gather them back to the base, which, yeah, that could take a while. That could take a very, very long time because they are really freaking heavy. Oh, also, do you think that Amaryllis is pregnant? Do you think there's any significance to her pose being different than anyone else's? I'm rather curious about that, but please let me think else down below. Be sure to like, subscribe to the video, and until then, peace!